YouTube! So for those of you who don't know, I make a video series called Curtain Up where I talk about the theatre that I've been to see in the month. February was particularly busy for me, so I'm going to crack straight on with it. The first show that I saw in February was actually one that I booked in January. I rarely book shows, I tend to just go to the theatre when I fancy seeing something and buy a ticket there, but I wanted to see Les Miserables again. I especially wanted to see it from the front row, as this is somewhere I've never sat before, and the two middle seats of the front row are at a slightly discounted price because they are just behind the conductor, so they're technically restricted. I finally managed to find one of these seats and booked it up straight away. And it's lucky I booked it when I did because the next day they announced when the cast would be changing, and that was 2 weeks after I was going to see it, so thankfully I got to see that cast again. Seeing Les Mis from the front row was absolutely amazing. I've usually sat in restricted view seats, mainly at the back of the stalls to see Les Mis before, and there's a slight overhang from the dress circle. So to see it from the front row where there's no restrictions whatsoever apart from a little bit with the conductor's head, and to be honest that didn't bother me. I didn't have to crane my neck up too much as well, thankfully, because of the depth of the orchestra pit, so you didn't have to really look up like that, great angle, to see the show. It was really unrestricted and I absolutely loved it. Les Mis is a fantastic show. If you haven't been to see it, you must go and see it. It's absolutely amazing. I was really thrilled as well because Carrie Hope Fletcher was still on as Eponine. I went on a Wednesday matinee and I was a bit worried she might not be on. Thankfully she was, and she is my favourite Eponine. I just think she's astonishing and it was amazing to see her from the front row. I was really lucky I actually got to see a few understudies that day. I had the understudies for Jean Valjean, Javert, Cosette, Fantine, Enjolras, and someone else I think, and I'll list them all here, and they were just absolutely incredible, and it was nice to see a slightly different dynamic to the show as well. I love seeing understudies. I think it's really very special, and especially considering as some of them were coming towards the end of their contract, it was really nice to see how much they were putting into the show. In the same day of seeing Les Mis, I went to see Wicked in the evening. I haven't seen Wicked in a while actually. The last time I saw it was in September on Broadway. Again, I got to see a couple of understudies. I had Karina on as Glinda and Kane Oliver Parry on as Fiyero alongside Emma Hatton, who I've seen as Elphaba before. It was really nice to see them, however I haven't seen this cast since their cast change, so it would have been nice to have the principals on, but I don't complain when there's understudies on, so I was very happy to see them. We had really good tickets to see the show. I would normally day seat for Wicked, so I sit from the front row, but we were in I think row L, so it's quite nice to be able to see the entirety of the stage and the show. It's definitely a seat I'd recommend. They're really good in the stalls there. Wicked is one of my favourite shows. It's one of the most prominent shows in my life because it did make me fall in love with theatre. However, sadly I think I've seen it too many times and I just need to not see it for like a year or something because I overanalyse it so much, so I've almost ruined it for myself, which is a shame, but the whole cast were really brilliant and I did enjoy the show regardless. The next day I was at St Paul's Actors Church in Covent Garden to see a semi-staged performance of Muted the Musical. Now I've seen a snippet of this show in a show called Interval Productions so far, and that was a couple of years ago at the Cockpit Theatre. Tim Protty Jones, who's currently in Kinky Boots, and Tori Allen Martin created this show, and I was so looking forward to seeing more of it as a full production. It was semi-staged, so it wasn't the complete version of it, but it was definitely more than I've seen before, and I really enjoyed what I did see of it. The only shame is that in the Actors Church, because it is a church, obviously the acoustics are very different, and I feel like had I seen this in a smaller venue as it was previously before Interval Production so far, I think I would have enjoyed it more. Some of the dialogue and the songs were lost because of the acoustics, but I'm hoping that they will do more with this show in the future, which I'm sure they will do, and then I can see it again then. To summarise quickly, Muted is about a boy called Michael who is in a successful up-and-coming band, and then an accident involving his mother happens and that renders him mute. So the show follows his struggles being mute and not being able to convey his emotions and what he's going through, and then obviously how that affects his family and his friends as well. So it's a very different story. I believe it's been compared, like the music's been compared to the likes of a British Rent in the past. The show has a really small cast. It was really great. It had the likes of Ashley Gray and Liam Doyle in it, and I mean they were all superb in the cast, and I was really pleased to see it. The CD, I believe it's on Amazon and iTunes. I'll put all the links below for you to check it out, but it's definitely one of those ones to watch. At the weekend, my friends and I decided to go along to the Prince of Wales Theatre to try out the Book of Mormon Lottery. I think I've done this probably close to about 20 times now. I've won once previously, and typically I'd already day sat for tickets that day, so I couldn't use the tickets and I gave them to a friend. This time I won, my name was third called out, and I screamed with joy. I was so happy, and the cast had changed the week before as well, so I was really excited to see them from the front row, as it was my first time seeing the show from the front row. I've seen the Book of Mormon twice before, so I know how hilarious it is, I know I enjoy it, and I was shocked because the cast have only been together a week at that point, and they were so seamless. It was like they've been performing for months together, and I think that's a sign of a really great cast, and I think they're going to have a lot of fun this year together. The show is hilarious. Again, if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. The front row tickets are £20 for the lottery, so amazing value if you win, and yeah, had a lot of fun seeing it. My next point isn't a show, but it is theatre related. I received an email from the lovely team at Masterclass about a new online campaign they were launching the next week, and they asked me if I would like to be a part of it. The campaign is called In Your Hands, and it's basically being used as an online tool to encourage people to share what part of the theatre industry they're in or what they'd like to be working in, they're aspiring to work in, to share it with a photo of them. I'll put mine up here, to say what area they work in, just to show the diversity of careers there are in theatre. It's not just about acting, singing and dancing, there is so much more to it. I've written a blog post about this campaign, so I will link that like up here and down below for you to check out, and don't forget to get involved and tag your photo at Masterclass and with the hashtag In Your Hands as well. The next thing I went to was a concert at the House of St Barnabas to see Jodie Jacobs. I've seen Jodie in concerts previously and she is just fantastic. She's so incredible. I recently saw her in Jest End as well in December. She's a hilarious performer. This concert really showed what a gorgeous voice she has and how versatile she is. And it's just really a shame because I don't think she's been given the diverse roles enough to show off this voice, but it was so amazing. She had an incredible set list as well. A couple of my favourites from it were Making Good, which was a song that was cut from Wicked and replaced by The Wisdom Eye. She sang Say the Word by Kerrigan and Loudermilk, and I love their music, and she sang in their concert a couple of years ago now and I went to that. So it's really nice to hear that from her because she did some male songs of theirs before, so that was really lovely. Another one of my favourites was Lost in Translations from Lift, and she talked a lot about Lift and Julie Atherton, who played the character who sung this song in the show, and it just really brought back all these happy memories about Lift as well. And yeah, now there's so many shows that I want to see Jodie in, so please, theatre gods, cast her in them. Thanks. On a sort of whim, I got a last minute ticket to see Matilda the musical. I absolutely love Matilda, it's one of my top favourite musicals. I don't need much persuasion to go and see it, I absolutely adore it. I love as well that with there being so many children in the cast, it's always changing. It's rare that you'll see the same set of kids for each show, so that's what I love, it's like the diversity of it. I wanted to go primarily to see Charlotte Scott as Miss Honey because she's the understudy for it. I've had the pleasure of seeing her when she's been understudying for Glinda in Wicked, Kathy in Singing in the Rain and Hope in Urinetown, so this is just another role that I was so thrilled a couple of years ago when she finally got into the show, and I absolutely adore her playing the role, so whenever she's on I like to go and see her. She's so talented, she plays a beautiful Miss Honey, and the show is just fantastic. I think, again, if you haven't seen that one, you must go because it's perfect for everyone, I think. I'm not sure I know someone who hasn't enjoyed it, so it's definitely a winner of a show. The last show I saw this month was In the Heights. I last saw this in November and there's been a couple of cast changes since then, and I also had some understudies on. I had understudies for Vanessa, technically Daniela because Victoria Hamilton Barrett was pregnant, so she's now off the show. Understudies for Benny, Nina's mum Camilla, and Claudia as well. So there's quite a few changes to the show that was really nice to see. The cast is so brilliant, they have so much energy and so much enthusiasm. It's not an easy show to do, there's a lot of like choreography. They don't stay still for long at all, so they're constantly moving, and just the energy they put into it is absolutely astounding. And finally, one more thing that I want to talk about, again, not a show but definitely theatre related. I'm currently working with Society of London Theatre as a social media assistant for the Olivier Awards. So last week I was lucky enough to go along to the nominees announcement at the Rosewood Hotel. This was such an exciting event to go to. Obviously, having just been a member of the public beforehand, it's something I never thought I'd get to go to, and to just be in that room with it all happening was so exciting. Everyone who was nominated, it was so exciting in the room as their show and names were called out. Everyone was cheering. It was just really, really lovely, and I actually took some photos that are now on the Olivier Awards Facebook page. So it's really, really cool to be involved in that way, and it was really cool. Yeah, it was a really, really great day, and I had a lot of fun. So God knows what I'm going to be like on the actual awards day. Talking of the Olivier Awards, you can check out a full list of the nominees on the website, and as well you can vote in one of the awards. Magic Radio are hosting the Audience Award this year, so you can check that out and vote for your favourite show and be part of the whole process. As well, do come along to Covent Garden's Piazza on the 3rd of April to see live performances from the Audience Award nominees. It's one of my favourite days of the year, just to be with friends watching theatre and yeah, having a good laugh. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you have, and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more of me in the future. Do let me know as well what theatre you've been seeing at the moment or what you've got booked to see, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!